You are listening to The Joe Show with Big Joe and Little Joe.
Coming at you. Good morning. Sunday morning. April 7, 2019.
Yeah, we're back on YouTube, everybody. Sorry about last week. It was some technical difficulties. I really don't know what was going on. I don't know. Hopefully we're...
Beyond our control.
Yeah, hopefully we're on this week, too.
That's it. Anyway, show number 7, the hottest topics north of the tropics. Coming at you, as I always say. We have a lot to cover today. Locally, LSU sports, basically, and nationally, we always go over the things that you probably don't care about. Well, we do, just trying to enlighten and inform you.
Yeah, we got a bunch of little tidbits of national news. It's actually going to be pretty funny, but we know we're going to get to Crazy Joe and why he's not going to be president.
That's it, Joe. Good try. He may not even run. He hasn't formally said he was going to get into it.
Yeah, I don't see how anybody thought he'd be a viable candidate anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, nationally.
The fix is in just because they want Trump to win again. That's all it is.
Yeah. All last week, they were talking about the wall again, Trump's wall. And it's a really precarious and dangerous situation down there on the border. A lot of people have chimed in. I don't know why they haven't put the wall up. There is some wall. Wall has been put up by previous administrations, but you know, you need something to stop all the flow of the people that we can't feed, we can't house, we can't get into the hospitals and just fill everything. So.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody the other day. I was like, they're talking about, of course, bashing Trump and the wall and stuff like that. I asked him, hey, you ever been down there? Oh, no, I've never been down there. Okay, well, they already have a wall. They already have a wall in El Paso. They got like a whole DMZ. I don't know what you're talking about, but they already basically on those border towns, if you've ever been, they already have a wall. They already have big security and fences and all kind of stuff in place.
Well, anyway, it needs to be done. However long it's going to take, that's going to be the situation. But LSU spring game was this weekend. LSU baseball won 2 out of 3 against the Aggies at the box, which was pretty thrilling victories, so to speak. The Final Four has already been determined by Virginia, who won on controversial last-second foul called on a three-point shot. Mind that, with 6.6 seconds left, the guy sank 3 free throws. My take on that, I don't know about you, Little Joe, but don't foul anybody when they're taking a three-point shot.
Yeah, I saw that. And everybody was like, that's a BS call. No, that was the right call. It was the double dribble that the refs missed a little, like before, a couple of sequences before that. Now, that was the bad call. That was the missed call that could have determined the outcome of the game. But, Auburn had their chances. I watched Bruce Pearl's press conference afterward. He said Auburn had plenty of chances to win that game. And Virginia, if I'm not mistaken, was pretty much ahead the whole game. Auburn came back and made it close. And, yeah, they put themselves in the position to win, but they just didn't get it done. It's unfortunate. It happens. If it's my team, I'm upset. But you know what? Also, in the same breath, if it's my team, I'm like, we had our chances. Sorry.
That's it. And then the other side, the opponent for tomorrow night's Final Four championship is Texas Tech Red Raiders out of Lubbock, Texas. And not only did they get into the final game, the championship round, in Lubbock, they celebrated a little overzealousness with rioting, turning over cars, setting fires, vandalism, disorderly conduct. I don't know if they had any tortilla throwing sightings or hitting people in the head with tortillas like they generally do at the football stadium there in Lubbock, but we'll go over that a little bit.
No, yeah, I didn't. It's so funny. It's just so funny. I mean, what did the Raider fans go to Lubbock for the weekend? I don't get it.
It happens. It's a mob mentality just takes over on its own.
We
and,
finally, we did it.
We did it.
We're going to the championship game. Come on, let's go flip some cars.
Lubbock, Texas is in the middle of a Texas desert, and then the biggest thing to come out of Lubbock,
Texas,
is my old buddy Ricky Neese and the late and great Buddy Holly.
That was it. That's it. Oh, Lubbock, Texas.
And anyway, we got that to go over. Baseball all over the United States, Major League, Little League, AAA, high school is taking full force, which is a good thing. Baseball to me is the best season, but besides football. But we have other things to go over, and we're going to go to the break, and we're going to get back to what we need to really delve in, which is the LSU spring game.
Yeah, the spring game, I saw a couple of highlights. Of course, I wasn't at the spring game. Did you see Leonard Fournette's chain? That silly 7th chain or whatever he's got on, that just looks silly.
No, I didn't see any clip of the.
Fournette, take that off. Go back to the drawing board. And what is it with either the rappers or the football players or whatever? They got to get the big chain, dude. You can't invest that money. Dude? What does your financial advisor say about that? It'd be like, look, that $50,000 chain. You can invest it, and I could flip it in a year's time into $75,000. Nah, man, I need that chain, fool. I need to look good at the game.
That's it, especially when I go back to my old alma mater. But last year or 2 years ago, I think he had a pair of $13,000 purple tennis shoes on. So that I wonder if he still got them. But Adrian Peterson had over 200 pair of tennis shoes in his closet when he was playing for the Vikings. So figure it out. Maybe they didn't have that ample supply of shoes when they were growing up.
Right, but how much is 200 pairs of tennis shoes? I'd rather have 200 pairs of tennis shoes than one silly-looking chain.
I hear you.
Platinum or silver or whatever it was. It looks silly. Fournette, take that off.
But anyway, the LSU spring game didn't show much, as other spring games never show much.
They never do. It's more of a defensive showcase than anything. Although Burrow did look good, and there was a couple of little plays that their running back made and stuff like that. But they're out there just running scripted plays, and they do it for the fans and stuff like that. So I mean, it's good to see football back on the field. Don't get me wrong, but for the most part, I mean.
Count down the days now.
Yeah, the spring game, I don't even, what does it even draw as far as fans?
I don't know. They panned it when I saw it this morning.
It was just one section
I think they just set one section, one side of the field people sit in. I know the big kahuna, Big Stevie Garzo was there, and he had an LSU weekend with the spring game and baseball, but it's a little bit too early. I know he's there in the house of worship this morning. We can't get him on the line.
Granted, if I was in Norman, I'd be going to the spring game.
That's it. Well, I mean, that's it in a nutshell for the first 5 minutes.
No. Let's keep going. You see where
we're going.
At.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't see the chart here. Well, I'm sitting in a different position. If you saw me last time when we went live.
What's that one you was telling me before we came on here? What cover the was it hippo something or another?
Oh yeah, nationally. I mean, there's a lot of national news. Everything goes on the globe globally. By the second, by the minute, by the day. We can't cover everything
Rhino poaching or something like that.
I need to look at it and just read the headline if I can. Suspected rhino poacher trampled by elephant, then eaten by lions. This comes out of South Carolina. Wow. This comes out of South Africa. A national animal park, I guess.
So the dude was over there poaching rhinos, right? And the elephants and the rhinos ganged up on him, trampled him to death, and then the lions came and ate him.
No, well, the elephant got him first, trampled him, and then
stomped on him.
They the poachers bought his body somewhere so they wouldn't get caught, and so they left his body somewhere in the sanctuary, the way I read it earlier, and then the lions got to him. And all the lions did was leave his skull and a pair of pants.
Did they take his debit card too?
I think they probably took his debit card and he used it all up. His
family needs to check his Amazon account and make sure they're not running up a big bill on it.
His family was distraught that there was nothing left but his skull and a pair of pants.
All right, we'll be back, everybody. We're going to take a break.
All right.
You are listening to The Joe Show with Big Joe and Little Joe. Joe Show at joejoeshow54@gmail.com.
Well, locally, here in Baton Rouge area, Denham area, the heavy rains this past weekend has caused the everlasting, ongoing flooding problems, and some of the pumping stations were working a little bit better, but a lot of heavy rain, and that's why we moved the show till this morning, Sunday, because there'll be heavy rain for the next couple of days, and we don't work in the rain, even though we're under cover. But bottom line is, be safe out there. There's heavy, bad weather coming through, so they say. It's always a batten down the hatch kind of mentality that the weathermen give you to be secure and stay safe.
It seems like it happens every week. It really does. Like it's either some type of warning or some type of tornado or weather or flash flood or something. It just
go to Home Depot and buy all the stuff you need.
It just keeps going.
Just make sure you get plenty of beer. Plenty of water and stuff like that you need in case the electricity goes off.
Yesterday they had nice weather though, so we'll be thankful for
Kite
that.
Fest, yes. Don't forget Kite Fest down there in beautiful Port Allen, Louisiana. We had a great time. Hadn't been in a couple of years, and my grandson Dexter has been going, and his family, little Joe and wife Heather, have been going to Kite Fest for over 10 years, so I thought that was a good thing. But anyway, locally, LSU spring game, like I said, didn't show too much offensively. According to Coach O, they're at a better spot they were than last year with Joe Burrow. Offensively, we got
the offense rolling. We got a new Saints boy over there, and Burrow, he looked really good. Go Tigers!
That's it. And the thing of it is that the O-line is not where it needs to be, and they're going to have to get
It never is. It never is. This is the what year in a row that the O-line has still got issues.
Right?
Hey, come on, LSU, you get all these defensive players, all these running backs, stuff like that. You can't get some O-linemen. I don't understand.
Right?
What is the issue? What is the problem?
I don't know. There's injuries. There's they're waiting for Ingram to come back, from his suspension, and it'll start to gel. I believe the offensive line will be a cohesive unit. I think Joe Burrow is going to need a little bit more time when they get into the meat and bones of the Southeastern Conference play. But defensively, Coach O said that they're not as aggressive as he thought they need to be. But Dave Aranda is going to get them coming around. They've got some big shoes to fill. And I believe the standout of the defensive unit was the incoming freshman, or the freshman who's already there, 5-star, the best cornerback in the nation, Darryl Stingley Jr., who from Dunham High here, not Denham. You got to
I don't
make
remember,
sure you get that right.
I don't remember him playing for Denham.
Yeah, I mean, he's all that. He could possibly play some offense too, but he's a bright light in that secondary. He'll probably start as a true freshman, and good thing he's here instead of playing for St. Nick over there in Tuscaloosa.
I do hope the Tigers look better offensively. They got that new offensive coordinator, which is going to be a nice change of pace. I think that'll be good for Joe Burrow. But like I said, Burrow. Now remember, Burrow won the starting job, and he wasn't even here for the spring game last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and they. No, he wasn't, and the wide receiver crews are just off the charts. I think they're going to have a good wide receiver set when Joe Brady installs that run pass option type offense.
That's his name, Joe Brady.
Joe Brady from the New Orleans Saints.
All right.
LSU baseball won 2 out of 3 against the Aggies in dramatic fashion one night, walk-off home run, so to speak, and then lost the middle game yesterday at 1 o'clock, and then came back and won last night's game. As far as Major League Baseball, it's taken off in earnest. It's 10 games into the season. Those who have and those who have not are really showing what they have and can't do, but the Los Angeles Dodgers are hitting home runs each and every game at an unprecedented clip to probably set a major league record. They led the league last year in home runs, and hopefully they can get their pitching staff together with Clayton Kershaw coming back. And then the Stros have started off on a losing losing end of the schedule, but they're coming around. Seattle Mariners look good in the AL West, and then it's the Bo Sox and the Yankees over here. So there's a lot of baseball, but even down there in South Texas, the South Texas Eye Center baseball team, Little League baseball team with our grandson, who I always talk, the little guy from Big Texas, Ethan Guerra. They are 5-0. They've scored over 60 runs. They've 3 times this season 10-run rule their teams, and as talked to the coach, my son Rick said that they're getting into the meat and potatoes part of their schedule here in the next couple of weeks, and they're going to see what they're made of.
Yeah,
but
maybe this is their year. Maybe this is it. Maybe it's all coming together for them down there. You know, I mean, I know in the past years they've won this, won that, or whatever.
Right.
But have they ever really won the big one?
I don't believe so. We've never won. I helped him coach a couple of years ago, and we got to the championship game. But it seems like Ethan has always been blessed to be on championship baseball teams, and he even plays football, and they've been in the championship round and won it for the past couple of years.
Well, I mean, that goes a long way, especially when you're a child. It makes you really feel like you're playing for something.
Yeah.
You know, because I've been on winning teams and I've been on loser teams, and when you're on loser teams, you're really not out there playing your
Going
hardest.
through the motions
I mean,
just to finish the season.
Or just going out there because you want the girls in the stands to be like, oh, wow, he plays football good.
Football.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
he's good.
He's the littlest guy on the team, but he still plays football.
Right,
you know.
right.
But
he's
anyway,
not scared of those big guys.
I'd like to give a shout out to Jacob Wagaspack, a Prairieville product from Dutchtown and Ole Miss. He pitches for the Buffalo Bisons in the AAA Baseball League up there in northeast part of the United States, and he opened up the season with an 8-3 victory where he gave up 6 hits, 1 run, and struck out 8 batters. The young man is 6'6", 240 pounds, an enterprising prospect. He was with the Philadelphia Phillies organization, and I believe now, stand corrected, it'd be the Toronto Blue Jay organization. He is the son of Debbie, the former Debbie Sellers, who is Steve Sellers' sister. And that's a good bloodline trait those people have, because they are also kin and cousins to Aaron Nola, who is the ace pitcher on the Philadelphia Phillies staff, who just, again, as we mentioned before, had signed a big major contract. And now he's got a beer endorsement, Joe. Yuengling beer?
Yeah, Yingling or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't touch it. I mean, I've drank it. I've tried both the Yingling Lager and the Yingling Light. I mean, if you want my honest opinion,
fruity,
it's like a Bud Light or a Coors Light.
Okay.
I mean, it's one of those safe beers. Like if you're in the middle of nowhere and that's all you have to drink, you know, you'll drink.
Well,
that.
I mean, if you want to drink, you'll drink anything, middle of nowhere, whether you be thirsty or just have to have that kick. But I mean, he signed a major endorsement there, and again, like I said, I mentioned earlier, as bloodlines, as I always tell Mr. Sellers.
I personally wouldn't drink Yingling.
Okay, even if you were nowhere.
No, yeah. I mean, even if you bought it for me and like, I'd act, oh man, Yingling, thanks, you know, and then I'd be like, hey, you know, call up the friends, hey man, you want some Yingling, you know. Anyway,
But I mean, you know,
anyway,
that's baseball across the board. Basketball playoffs are getting here pretty close, and if we had to talk NBA basketball, excuse me, Little Joe, it's Golden State. They've set the high bar. They're there. They'll be there again. It's Golden State. If you want to talk about anybody else, I know there's big stars, but it's Golden State.
Yeah, Golden State, Quaker State, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So anyway, look, coming back on the Joe and Joe show, we're going to shift gears a little bit, get away from sports. You know, I got to hit old plugs Biden with Joe Biden. You know,
Joe.
He's the CFR right that
Crazy
he is.
Joe.
And so really and truthfully, hope you've been enjoying the show so far. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell notification. So if you really enjoy what you hear, then you get notifications whenever we post something. Other than that, hope you've enjoyed what you've heard so far. We're going to come back, like I say, shift gears, talk about some other things, political, Joe Biden and stuff like that. So don't go anywhere.
Go back to that second cup of coffee.
Yeah, go get that coffee, please.
You are listening to The Joe Show with Big Joe and Little Joe. email the Joe Show at joejoeshow54@gmail.com.
All right. Glad you stuck around with us. If you made it this far in the show, thank you very much.
Turn that snooze button off. We know it's Sunday morning.
Right. If you made it this far in the show, thank you very much. You know I can't get out of here without bashing any Democrats. This is from zerohedge.com. It says it's by Tyler Durden. Forget creepy, Biden has a major Ukraine problem. Now, what is he talking about?
Ukraine.
So Biden, here he is at the Council on Foreign Relations speaking. He stuck his foot in his mouth one more time. Now, if anybody is in the position to do anything about it, they will, but he's a CFR. So let's just listen to what Biden, the fool, has to say.
So I got Ukraine, and I remember going over convincing our team, or others too, convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv. And
Stop right there. It's Kiev, you idiot. Kiev.
And I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid at the time.
Yeah, hey, that sounded like somebody we know. Was
solid?
Yeah, was he making a strong-ass offer?
There you go,
I mean,
Coach.
give me a break, yeah. But let's get back to serious. No, this is on a global scale. Here is the United States basically meddling in the government of another country. Now, you have to think, okay, why does this matter? And if you've stayed with us so far, if you haven't turned us off, I'm about to tell you why it mattered. What did that audio matter? Where are you going with this, Joe, little Joe? All right. So, like I said, this is from Zero Hedge. The prosecutor, he got fired, was leading a wide-ranging corruption probe into the natural gas firm Burisma Holdings that employed, here it is, Biden's younger son Hunter as a board member. You see, U.S. banking records show Hunter Biden's American-based firm, Rosemount Seneca Partners, LLC, received regular transfers into one of its accounts, usually more than $166,000 a month, from Burisma from spring 2014 through the fall 2015, during a period when the vice president was the main U.S. official dealing with the Ukraine and its tense relations with guess who? Russia.
Okay, little Joe, can you capsulize that? I know we're on a time limit budget, but can you capitalize that and put that in layman term? Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, this place. I mean, I know you just explained it and read it, but what does that mean? Is that nepotism? Is that cronyism? Is that...
I think it's just illegal all the way around.
Illegal activity all the way around?
You can't do that. So here we go. Hunter Biden's appointment to the board was widely reported in the American media. The U.S. Embassy in Kiev that controlled Biden's work in the country repeatedly and publicly discussed the general prosecutor's case against Burisma. Great Britain took very public action against Burisma while Joe Biden was working with that government on Ukraine issues. Biden's office was quoted on the record acknowledging Hunter Biden's role in Burisma in a New York Times article about the general prosecutor's Burisma case that appeared 4 months before Biden forcing the firing of Shokin. The vice president's office suggested in that article that Hunter Biden was a lawyer free to pursue his own private business interests. No. Here's the old questions for Joe. Was it appropriate for your son and his firm to cash in on Ukraine while you served as a point man for Ukraine policy? I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Yeah.
What work was performed for the money Hunter Biden's firm received?
166,000.
Did you know about the Burisma probe? And when it was publicly announced that your son worked for Burisma, should you have recused yourself from leveraging a U.S. policy to
I got
pressure
it
the
now.
prosecutor who very publicly pursued Burisma? No, that's not right.
That's understandable.
BS. That's BS right there. So here's old Joe Biden, you say, hey, well, you better fire that guy who's got his, who's investigating and going to bring all this dirt against our company and stuff like that. You better get him out the way or you don't get that $1 billion, So basically like shaking them down, playing hardball, like basically extorting them. You don't get
Giving
the $1 billion.
that strong ass offer.
Yeah, you don't get the $1 billion unless you fire this guy who's investigating my son's firm and, and our friends over there. So, no, that's not right on any level, and that's why Joe Biden is not going to be president or should not be president, because if you want stuff like that to be over and done with, and you don't think that's how, and if Trump was doing that,
Oh, my goodness.
never
That's what I was-
hear the end of it.
That's what I was alluding to give it to us in a nutshell. If Trump was doing that, I mean, again, like I say, never hear the end of it.
never hear
They're
the end
already
of
trying to shake him down for tax returns nobody cares
Yeah,
about.
Here we are, it's 2019, and they're still talking about the tax returns.
Of 6 or 7 years ago.
How about let's see Bernie's tax returns? What about
Yeah.
that numbskull Ocasio-Cortez or whatever? And speaking of, did I hear that fool talking this weekend to, or a few days or sometime back, talking to this predominantly black rally, or they were
Right.
somewhere talking
With
about the Green New Deal is going to offer reparations?
Right.
Did I see
right.
that?
Yeah. I saw the
Reparations
same
for
thing,
what?
too.
Reparations for what?
I mean, that's going to be part of their plan to give reparations. To me, it sounds like it's part
And
of the
who
plan
are they
to get
going to take
votes.
that money from? The IMF? Like, are they going to take it from my tax return? No, you're not. You want to see a Boston Tea Party or a Tea Party of people throwing their tea into the river or something like that? You're going to see the biggest. I don't know what's going to
That talk
happen.
has been on for years.
Yeah, but why? If it's so unpopular with average Americans, why are they doubling down on that?
Well,
Who
they're
would
just
benefit from that?
digging their own grave.
Nobody would benefit from that.
They're digging their own grave, if you ask
But
me.
this loser, this fool, and all her cohorts and the people that got
Correct.
her puppet strings, they're
Correct.
the dumb-dumbs that stopped, what was it, Amazon? From
Right.
coming to New York and
Correct.
offering all those jobs
Well-
and stuff to who? To blacks and Latinos? No, we can't have those blacks and Latinos getting empowered and having jobs, because then they won't need us anymore. And what are the key Democrat principles? What are the key? You got to keep them poor. You got to keep them uneducated.
That's
And you
right.
got to keep them voting Democrat. So if Amazon came in and gave jobs, good, decently paying jobs to these people, then they would wake up and smell the coffee and we don't need these guys anymore.
It's a different dumb strategy, and the people all who are getting on the bandwagon for it are other presidential Democratic hopefuls. Beto and Kamala Harris have said, "Oh yeah, that's great. Oh yeah, we'll push that agenda also." And it's just going to lead to the road to ruin for their party, if you ask me.
But like I said, I mean, the Democrats, they do everything. It's all about controlling their voter base and controlling the population and controlling the people. They don't care about the people's well-being. They don't. They
care
never
about
have.
the
They never
life of a
have.
child inside a mother's womb.
No, they definitely don't care about
Gosh
that.
almighty,
Yeah, I
that's
know.
unbelievable.
We might get to that topic one day, but we're not going to do that today because
Not
that
today.
might take
Not on
up
Sunday.
Not on Sunday. So anyway, hopefully you understood a couple of things that we've tried to clarify for you about the buffoon Joe Biden, Ocasio-Cortez, and what they're pushing.
That's it.
But we're
on
going to
that
switch
subject.
gears back to happier stuff or funnier stuff. You are listening to the
In just
Joe
a
and
bit.
Joe Show.
Don't
Do not
go
go
away.
anywhere.
You are listening to The Joe Show with Big Joe and Little Joe. Email The Joe Show at joejoeshow54@gmail.com.
Don't close the door.
We're back. It's been a good show so far. I'd like to give a few shout-outs to here and there. What do you got, Little Joe?
I just want to say, anybody that's listening to us, thank you very much. We are getting this thing together, and we're not expecting to have 1,000 followers or 10,000 subscriptions or 1 million views anytime soon. We're just going to keep bringing you this content. It's just the two guys you know, or you think you know, or whatever, just looking at the same headlines you are looking at and offering our opinion. Yeah. So if you like what you hear, like I say, if you like what you see, if you think we're funny, subscribe, tell your friends, check these guys out, post it on your Facebook and be like, look at these fools or something like that, But any publicity or any, wide spread dissemination of our show or whatever is good for us and maybe even you. Because who knows, we might have you as a guest on the show.
We're not professionals, but we are professionals and trying to do what we're doing.
I'm a professional at thinking I'm a professional.
That's it. And we don't expect 1,000 viewers, but we're like Donald Trump. We didn't expect to win the presidential election a couple of years ago, but look at us now. Yeah. So bottom line is, I'd like to wish my niece, I believe my oldest niece, if I can say that, if she's watching, I'll tell her we plugged her. Happy birthday, Sarah Guajardo, down there in Victoria, Texas.
Happy birthday.
Mother of mothers, so to speak.
Yes,
Grand
happy
lady.
Birthday.
Happy birthday.
She's actually my godmother.
That's it. Okay, godmother. And then I'd like to give a shout out to Kane Taylor up there in Chicago, soon to be at the end of the summer, a resident of Kansas City, Missouri, at the Kansas City Art Institute, which we've gone over a bunch of times. He had a spring art show for his last one at his high school there in Chicago. Was joined in by family and got a lot of kudos for a lot of great work. And he's got a comic book going on web comics that he gave the first installment the other day. And man, I can't wait for the second installment. So peace and love to you, Kane Taylor. We love you very, very much. But I wanted to get back to that poaching thing. When you talk about justice in this day and time, and you talk about the court system, and you
don't
talk
leave it
about
up to the
this
courts.
and that.
The animals take out their own
Leave it up
justice.
to the animals. I mean, just leave it up to the animals. The guy was out there illegally poaching on a wildlife sanctuary in South Africa. Then he got trampled, he got caught, or whatever, something happened. Well, anyway, he got trampled by an elephant, getting too close to the elephant. Yeah. That's what it was. So they left his body.
He was ivory poaching?
I guess he was there in sanctuary poaching, period. They were looking for rhinos. Rhino.
No, he was probably like just poaching ivory or whatever and got trampled on.
Yeah, but anyway, long story short, justice was served, so to speak, when the elephant trampled on him. And then, again, like I said, the lions ate him alive. I mean, ate the rest of him, left his skull and a pair of pants. That's it. I mean, can you see lions just devouring this guy? And you shouldn't have done that. And this is the penalty you have to play. And they're chewing on him. Hey, wait a minute, and they're getting the pelvic bone and they're getting the rib cage and all that stuff. And
he went out there and he was playing by human rules.
That's
and
it.
He forgot the rules how the animals play.
That's it.
And they don't play fair.
Sleeps tonight.
It's what is it? Killer be killed, or only the strong can survive.
Yeah. So I guess
he wasn't as strong.
I guess if you're in South Africa, just watch what you're doing, because justice will be served swifter than you could take a bite out of, so to speak. So I just wanted to say that. I thought that was the funniest thing when we went to an impromptu morning session this morning to get this going, and I thought that was the hilarious thing to put nationally.
Monday, they will move the National Guard into Lubbock just in case they win. The
That's
National
right.
Guard will be on the streets patrolling.
That's right.
In case they win.
It's probably the greatest day in Lubbock City history, besides, that Buddy Holly came from there, like I mentioned earlier.
All right, we're out of here.
All right. Remember, little guys, drink all your milk, say your prayers. Peace.
You are listening to The Joe Show with Big Joe and Little Joe.